Stop being scared. Stop letting fear control you. Don't stay put when you should have moved. It's time to start that business. It's time to give that gift. It's time to leave that relationship. It's time to quit that job. It's time to start that new job. Whatever you know God has been tugging you at, this is the time to do it.
Live life purposeful. Welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Podcast. I missed you guys so much. I know I have been MIA for the past few weeks, but you guys, I have had the flu. I was so sick. Something is going on. Something is in the air. And I think they're saying it's another form of COVID. It's COVID-19 2.0. The blood. I rebuke that. We do not need another epidemic. That was crazy enough. But I have been so sick, so I was not able to record, but I am back and I am better. We have another amazing episode ahead of us today. It's actually interesting. We're going to do a Q&A today. I would have asked you guys some questions, but before we get into that, I just want to say welcome back. Welcome to all the OGs who has been here from day one, episode one, from even before the podcast launched. You guys have been locked in. So I want to say thank you all and thank you for joining us once more. Thank you for being a part of our little family. And for those of you who are new here, I want to say welcome. Thank you for giving us a chance. I promise you're going to feel so much at home here. We are more than just a podcast. We are a family. So I just want to give you guys your flowers and say thank you all so much again for liking, sharing, subscribing, and just allowing the podcast to reach the people that it needs to reach. I want to encourage you to continue to like, share, subscribe, and let us get more people added to our family. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. If you have not yet followed us, please do so, and look us up on all the social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, so on and so forth. Thank you all so much once again for joining me on the Purposeful Podcast. Guys, I have been so filled with a lot of bliss and gratitude, and I recently celebrated my 27th birthday. Your girl is getting old. They started off really amazing. I've been in just an amazing, not exciting amazing, but amazing to where I would have gotten a chance to sit and think about all the blessings that I would have had over these past 27 years, and just to sit and think that, for those of you who know my story, I did speak about it on the previous episode of the podcast. When I sit and think about that situation, that circumstances from the day of my birth, that circumstance from the day of my birth up until now, it just makes me so grateful. So prior, the night before my birthday, on the eve of my birthday, I was so emotional because I'm just sitting there and I'm just thinking about all the things that God has brought me through, and I'm here up until this point. And for some reason, I've just been feeling so overwhelmed. Like, I do not feel that I deserve the blessing and the grace that God has had on my life. And it's crazy to think that, you've made it so far, and a lot of things would have actively been trying to prevent me from reaching this far. So the day has just been filled with so much gratitude, and let me tell you guys, a lot happened on that day that made me just want to scream. Like, if I could have just,
Oh my God!
just pulled my hair out, but not my hair.
No ma'am.
But yeah, it was really, it was a bittersweet kind of day. But we'll get more into that. I am dreading turning 30. Oh my gosh, that's only in a few years. By the time you blink, I'm gonna be 30 years old. That is scary for me. 30? 30? As in 3-0 though. Damn. Getting old. I am getting old. So the day started off, like I said, emotional. I was just going through the works, guys. And then I woke up to find out that I had a situation with my dad that I had to go to the hospital. He was about to undergo a surgery. And then I knew that since the night before because he had fallen and, fractured his hip. So he needs it to get a surgery to get that fixed. And then I had to go to the hospital for 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I woke up, I found out that my brother had crashed my car. So there was no way for me to get to the hospital. And then my brother's okay. The car is unable to drive. And it was a lot going on that morning. And I lay on the ground and I just started to cry. Because what else was there to do, And I just started to cry, and as I was laying there for a few minutes, or quite more than a few minutes, I believe it's like over two hours or more, that I was laying on the ground in my room, and I was crying, and I was just reminded of the much that I have to be grateful for. Things may not be going your way all the time, but you have moments where you just need to sit and realize and understand that you are even blessed to be alive at this point. You're even blessed to be able to say that you have the breath of life in your lungs presently. There are so many people who would have had plans for their birthdays and all of that, and it just was not able to fulfill those plans because they're no longer here. So sometimes we have major or minor setbacks in life, but it's just important to remember to stay grounded and to stay grateful, to stay grounded and to walk in gratitude all the time. And that's so hard, you guys. That is so hard. But you know what? It is not impossible. It's not. It's so not impossible. So a lot of times you just gotta pray for the strength. Understand that when you pray, pray intentionally. Don't just say random things. The Bible said that we have not because we ask not. So as much as we may understand that we know, because I know and you know that God knows what we need and He knows how much we can bear, but He's waiting for us to ask, guys. He is waiting for us to reach out to say that, God, I need you. God, I need you. He understands what you need. Let's get into this Q&A. I put out some polls and I'm gonna ask you guys. Do you call them polls? Do you call them polls? The question. I put out the question thing on Instagram, asking you guys, about some question and answers that you would like for me to discuss on this episode of the podcast. And I must say that some of them were really funny, but we are going to get into that. We're going to get into this. So it's going to be great. But I did say that I will answer all questions. So I'm sticking to my word. And even if your question is a little bit, I'm going to answer because I am a woman of my word. Let it not be known that I don't stick to my word. Okay? Okay. Let's get into it. So, the first question that I received: what inspired you to start the podcast? I believe that I mentioned this in the first episode of the podcast, where I would have said that the podcast has been on my heart to start for a long time, because I believe that I have so much to say, because I go through so much, and especially coming from a Caribbean household, there's just certain things that we would experience and we're not even able to speak out about it. And I realized that I'm not the only one that goes through those things, I figured I cannot be the only one that is experiencing this overwhelming sense of needing to be heard, needing to be listened to, needing to be understood, needing to know that I am not alone in a situation or in the world. Because sometimes the circumstances and the experiences that we are having will cause us to believe that we are alone in a world full of people. And I knew that I could not be alone. Like, I knew that there are other people out there that is experiencing what I would have experienced or I'm currently experiencing. And if I can be the voice that can help them to navigate that path, that is what I want to be obedient to. That calling is exactly what I want to be obedient to, because I understand the struggle of not feeling as though you're understood, not feeling as though there's anyone that understand your perspective. So that is what inspired me. And of course, I feel as though it was a calling on my life from God, and I do not want to misuse or misrepresent God in any way. So it's my way of being obedient, basically. All right, question number 2. We have quite a few. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go through all of them, but we are going to try our best to answer all of the questions. If not, I will do a part 2 of this episode, because you guys are kind of personal though. Damn. You want to be in my business so bad. Okay. Y'all nosy. So, the other question. How old are you? This question is funny to me because while I'm very open about my age, right? But I do get that it's confusing, because as much as I look grown when I get all, dressed up like a grown person, other times I just feel like not doing too much. So I would put my hair in like two ponytails, or two nice little curly bun, and I look so small. I cannot tell you guys the amount of times I am stopped by the police. It'd be annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be annoying sometimes. So I am 27 years old, like I said earlier in the video. I recently celebrated my birthday like 2 days ago, and I'm 27 years old now. And I am stopped by the police ever so often when I'm driving, and they don't even want to see the documents for my vehicle. They just want to see my license. And when I drive in certain area, like in the Providence area, for those of you from Guyana, I'm like, sir, at this point you should know me. You should know me at this point. There's absolutely no reason why you should stop me. With the amount of time you have stopped me before, you should know me by now. You should know me by face, name, and everything. Oh, goddamn. I'm 27 years old. That is it. That is the answer. Moving on. Moving on. So, next question. What is something people often get wrong about you? There are so many things that I can list right now. First one being my age. First one is my age. People get my age wrong all the time. Oh my gosh. Secondly, I can say that persons think that I am somewhat unapproachable, which is crazy because I'm like the nicest person ever. I am the nicest person that you would ever meet. I'm so chill, honestly. But I was walking with a friend of mine one time, and this guy came up and he said good morning to the friend that I was walking with, and I'm like, "You're so rude. I'm right here." It's not that I was trying to get his attention, but I'm like, "Bro, I'm right here." And then he was like, "Oh, my bad. I just assumed that you don't want anybody to talk to you because your face looks so serious all the time." And I'm like, "Am I supposed to walk around with a grin? Am I? What is happening? Am I from Whoville at this point? Do I walk around with a grin from ear to ear? No. Say hi to me. I'm really nice, you guys. Say hi to me when you see me, please. I just I'm not mean, and I don't feel like I look it. I don't even think I have the capability to look mean. My face is so small. Man, you guys please say hi to me. That's not nice. But yeah, people assume I'm unapproachable. But I'm really nice. So that's one of the things people often get wrong about me. Another question is, who has the biggest impact on the person you have become today? That is a good question. That is an absolute marvelous question. I did talk about this in the previous episode where I mentioned my mentor. My mentor had played a huge part in who I have become today. He really taught me a lot and helped me navigate certain experiences that I've been going through. And he just brought me to a place of firmly understanding and believing and trusting holistically in the plan and the purpose of God, to where I understand that these experiences are hurtful, they're painful, whatever the case may be, but at the same time, I understand that there's a bigger purpose. And I'm much more calm than I used to be. I used to have this extreme need to control the narrative. And I know that that's a lot of persons struggle with this, but we're just not aware that we struggle with it. The urge, the need to control the reaction and the outcome of a situation is so common that we do not even recognize that. But I've learned to just relax and be like, it's okay. It is okay. Things are not going to always go the way that you plan. Don't beat yourself up. It is okay. If you truly trust in the plan of God, I mean, I know this is easier said than done, but if you truly trust in the will and the plan of God, then there is no reason, literally no reason for you to be anxious or worried. But I know that's easier said than done. I just want to get to the place where even if it's hard, I can do it hard. That's where I'm at. If it's hard, I'm not saying that I want my life to be easy. I'm not saying I want this path to be easy. And I'm not saying that it ever will be easy, because even in the Bible, they promise you that your days on the earth will be filled with troubles. And that's why I honestly do not take on certain things, because I realize that if I am promised, this is not a maybe. I am promised that the days that I have here on earth is going to be filled with trouble. I'm not adding unnecessary troubles to it. I'm not adding unnecessary trouble. So I'm trying now to step out of the mindset of needing to control the narrative, because I feel like that's unnecessary stress. Like, I'm choosing my battles carefully right now. I am choosing my battles carefully. And I would advise you do the same, because you cannot fight all the battles. You cannot fight all it. Like, choose your battles carefully. Know what you want and be prepared to pay the price for what you want. Go after what you want with all your might and be prepared to pay the price to get it. Be prepared to live out your purpose regardless of what it's going to cost. So, my mentor is one of the persons that that made the biggest impact on the person that I have become. How do you recharge your life how do you recharge when life gets overwhelming? Music. Music. For those of you who know me, I am a musician. I play steel pan. I love music. Music is my therapy. Or if I don't listen to, okay, it all comes back to music, because if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I would like to take a walk. I would like to go on like solo dates and just sit with myself, go to cafe, mostly Starbucks. And when I go there, it's for the ambience and the music. Because they have some really soothing music that's happening. And I just like to unwind and get. I love to get in the presence of God when I'm overwhelmed. When I feel like life is more than me, get in the presence of God. I promise you. But don't do it in, I mean, you can do it in fellowship with other people and so on and so forth. But what I find works for me specifically, I like to get in a place where I can have alone time with God. I can sit and I can read my word and I can just meditate on the word. I love to journal. I journal. I write down what I understood by the word. I just sit and try to ask God to speak to me in the moment. And even if I don't hear his voice right there and then, I just sit in his presence. I feel like that is what I do when I'm overwhelmed. And that is what works for me. I'm not the kind of person that I wouldn't say that I'm antisocial, but I find it difficult to be in the presence of other people when I'm overwhelmed because I do not want that intense feeling that I'm feeling to cause me to react to the other person in a negative way that would actually affect or impact the relationship that we have in a negative light. Because if I'm overwhelmed, then I don't have the capacity to take in another person's presence. I don't know if it's just me. Because if I'm overwhelmed and I'm dealing with whatever, and you come in and you're telling me all the stuff that you have going on, and I love to listen. On a regular day, I would love to listen, but sometimes when you're overwhelmed, or when I am overwhelmed, it's a lot for me. And it could cause you to lash out at that person for something that you're dealing with internally. So I like to take a moment of solitude to really process everything and just to unwind and just get back into a mindset of peace to where I can navigate. Now I can go back to navigating my life logically rather than being overwhelmed with emotions and all of that. So music helps me relax, getting into the presence of God, going on solo dates, going on trips. I love to travel. I love to travel. So going on trips also help. Stuff like that. Just getting a new breath of like fresh air and a new perspective, a new line of sight. Those kind of things I do when I am trying to unwind. Has the podcast taught you anything about yourself that surprised you? Wow, that I have to give that some thought. What I can see is that it certainly taught me that I have a really strong urge to help people more than I thought. I don't know if that makes sense. Because when I don't know if this is the urge to help people, but when I do an episode of the podcast and I get the feedback and persons are saying, "Oh, this has caused me to this is so I've been going through so much and this has caused me to see a way out and this has caused me to know how to move forward from here." I am so excited to hear those things. I feel a sense of accomplishment, even if it is one person. What I found when I started to do videos for the podcast, like the shorts that I would post on TikTok and Instagram and so on, I was obsessed with the numbers, and I'm still at the point where I look at the numbers, but I want to be to the point. I want to get to the point where the numbers doesn't matter, because if I can touch one person, if I can change one person's life, if I can add positively to one person, just one, I am good with that. I would feel so accomplished to know that because of this podcast, this person has chosen a different path, one that is better for them, one that is better suited for their purpose, one that gives them an understanding of life holistically. That is what I found out about myself that I yearn for most of all. That's one of the things that I would have learned about myself through the podcast. All right, next question. I have been avoiding this one. Oh my gosh. I have been avoiding this one like the plague. The next question. Are you single? No.
What do you get out of lying so much? Like, what does that do for you?
My husband is looking for me. Give me a minute, guys. Oh my gosh. Cut the show.
Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off.
Oh my gosh. Oh. All levity aside, I am single. I am single, and
If I would get to
in this season, in this time, I think that is the best thing for me right now. I'm not dating. I am not looking to date right now. And everybody be asking why you're so young, live your life. Yeah, I get that. Live your life. I don't want to just be out here doing too much. My husband is gonna find me. I believe it. I'm gonna wake up one day and he's gonna knock on my door and be like, I've been searching all over for you. And I'm gonna be like, finally. Because I don't want to. Let me tell you, it is so scary to date. Honestly, it is so scary to date. I'm not closed off from it. I am not. I'm taking some time because I do realize that after having done some self-reflection about myself and, taking into consideration the events of my previous relationships and understanding my part that I played in the, it not working out, I understand that I do have some work to do on myself, and I'm being intentional about that before walking into a next relationship, to where I don't want to have to bleed on the other person or cause them to not have the best version of me, essentially. So right now I am in my season of solitude, I'm in my season of singleness, and I'm being intentional about it. I do not want to date. But as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know. So, but I'll keep you posted. I will keep you posted. But right now, I am single. And I am intentionally single. And I want to remain single for now. Because I'm in my season of solitude and just healing and understanding myself. I am getting to know myself more and more every day. And some of the things, I like. Others I don't. But I am still learning what my likes and dislikes are. I'm learning to sit with myself more, to sit with my thoughts more, because at one point you couldn't catch me in a quiet space because my thoughts would just consume me and I was just overwhelmed with them. And I realized that I was trying to force them away. That's why every time I would sit in deep thoughts, it would be just a battle for me. So I am now at a place where I like me. I do. I really do love the woman that I'm becoming, and I know that I have so much more and a longer way to go, but I believe that God is doing something. He is working, and if I remain obedient in him, I know definitely that he will come through, and I'm just doing that. I've been falling back lately on the things that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. But guys, being disciplined, being consistent, staying consistent, it's so hard. It is so hard. I'm finding it so difficult to just stay consistent in what I am doing. Oh my gosh, discipline is hard. But I am working on it. And if you are there, I hope that you are too, because discipline is important. Consistency is key. You do not need to take the biggest step, but you do need to take constant step. Move, even if it's a little bit at a time. Move. That is the most important thing. Staying constant and understanding that you're not going to get there overnight, but if you take the smallest steps and you take consistent steps, you're going to get there eventually. So I'm just working on that right now with myself. I'm working on being disciplined. I'm working on understanding myself, and I'm working on loving myself, because how do you expect other people to love you if you don't love you? How do you expect other people to want to be in your presence when you cannot even sit alone for a moment in your presence? You cannot even sit with your thoughts, and you try to force your thoughts on other people. You do not even love yourself to the point where you decide to be healthy, to do the right things that your body needs, to consume the right things, to go to the gym. You're not doing it. You do not love you enough to make the sacrifices, and you're asking someone else to love you enough to make sacrifices off of their life. I don't know. That doesn't work. You need to first love you. Invest in you. Love you enough to do the right things by you. Love you enough, care for you enough to eat right, to work out, to be healthy, to not sit in a comfortable space, but to understand and realize your potential, to love you enough to know that there's more that you can do and actively pursue more. Love you enough to walk in your purpose. That is the only way that you feel fulfilled. So I am learning to love myself enough to do those things for me, and to not be reliant on anyone else to do those things, but to understand that it is my responsibility to make sure that those things occur. So I'm in that space, guys. I'm in that space where I am just learning to love me, essentially. So I don't think, I do not think, I don't think that I am ready to be in no relationship, none whatsoever. No romantic relationship I'm not ready for, because I'm yet to reach that point where I fully love and trust me, let alone another person. So I'm intentionally staying alone for now, being in my solitude, being in my self-love, self-growth era, so when I do reach that person, I'm able to give them the best version of me. So that's where I am right now as it relates to relationship. We're gonna answer about 2 more questions, because I feel like we've been at this for some time. What's a guilty pleasure that you're unapologetically into? A guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people would like first go to sweets, and you have a sweet tooth and you're doing too much when it comes to sweets and you're consuming so much. I don't know. I would say a guilty pleasure. I would say binge watching TV shows. I don't know. Is that a guilty pleasure? I don't know. I'm not into any weird stuff. Uh I probably binge watching Friends. I've watched Friends like 10 million times, and I would still watch it and I have the same enjoyment from it. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, that's not even funny." careful with me. Be very careful with me, okay? You don't need to find it funny. I find it funny. I find it relaxing. I love cartoons. I watch all the Barbies there is to watch. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll circle back to that another time. I'll give it some real thought and get back to you on that. One of the most difficult questions that I saw here is, why does good things happen? Sorry, why do bad things happen to good people? And that's a real head scratcher for me, because I don't know. The truth is, I do not know the answer to that question. But what I can tell you is that everything that we do in life comes full circle. I do not think that a lot of the things that happen to good people or people in general, they're not deserving of those things. But like I always say, there's a lesson in every experience. And if you focus on the bigger picture, the purpose behind you going through that season, it is to mold you and to shape you into the person that you are called to be. Because if you were to analyze every single thing that would have happened to you, and you really draw a comparison or a conclusion to who you are today, you would find that those difficult experiences prepared you for the things or the person that you are today, for the blessing that you would have received. Had you received it prior to that experience, you would not have known how to cherish it. You would not have known how to manage it. You would not have known how to invest it. You would not have known how to steward it into to the fullest of its capacity, had you not gone through that experience. So I cannot answer the question, why do bad things happen to good people? But I can say that in every bad experience, in everything that we deem to be a negative experience, there is a blessing in terms of a lesson that can be learned. There is a molding and a shifting that is taking place in that unfair and that unjust or that unfortunate situation that may have happened to you, even as a good person. So one of the things that I always encourage people is to not let that change who you are. Your core you, the core you that you are, do not let bad experiences change that. Do not let bad people change who you are in that regard. Because I always say, when I reflect on things that would have happened to me in the past, on the people, I always say, you're not going to make me hate love. You're not going to do that. You are not going to make me turn my back on love. I deserve love. And it is unfair to the next person or to the right person for me to hold everything that you did against them. And in my mind, it's like, I will not let you win twice. I will not let you win twice. And I do not hold grudges against people and for things that I would have experienced, because for me, everyone is human. Of course, you don't have the same access to me, but I do not hold any grudges. I genuinely wish you well. I really do wish you well. But I understand that while I do wish you well, and while I do understand that you're only human, and while I do have that forgiveness in me and that grace that I would give to you, I do not attach myself to the situation again. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna love you from over here, from a distance. I see love from distance. Yeah, but I cannot answer that question. I can only advise that you steward those experiences to make it better. When life give you lemon, make you some good lemonade. Make you some wonderful lemonade, and you show life who's in charge. Like, you show us how it's done. So that is the last question I'm going to take for the evening, and we're going to come back with a part 2 for this, because I know you guys have so many more questions. I have so many that I did not get a chance to answer just yet, but we are going to stop there for now with the questions. And I do hope that you guys enjoy this episode. I know that it is not the typical episode that we would do, but I had fun answering the questions that you guys have asked me. But like I said, when I'm not single, I will let you guys know. I will let you know. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. And I do hope to see you guys here again next week. Same time, same place. We are going to be having a guest speaker on the next episode. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because we're going to have some amazing content. So do log in again next week. Remember, guys, the audio drops on Thursdays on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Friday, the video drop on YouTube. I want to thank you all so much again for joining me, for liking, sharing, subscribing, and all the love and support that you guys have been showing towards the podcast. You guys are real MVP. I'm gonna share some of my birthday pictures with you guys. I had such a blissful day. I didn't do too much. The day was pretty quiet, but it was such, blissful and wonderful day, and I'm just so grateful for everyone, and thank you all for the birthday wishes. And I just love you guys, man. Thank you so much for joining me once more on another episode of the Purposeful Podcast, and I will see you guys same time, same place next week. I love you, babies. Bye.
Life's just a test for me, and this is just my testimony. I'm going through these trials and these tribulations, trying to live my life without hesitation. Yeah.
I just wanted to say happy birthday to such an icon. You are great. You deserve everything good under the sun.